Part 126. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1251. Zhuang burst into tears. Feng Qingxiu was stunned and looked at her husband, who was also stunned. Does he understand? Isn't it possible? He is so young. Lu Zhang hesitated for a moment and observed his youngest son carefully. This brat must think that I keep mentioning his name and speaking in a bad tone, so he gets angry. When you are angry, and your crying sound is like a kitten meowing. That's what he thought in his heart, but recalling how angry he was, Lu Zhang softened and stretched out his arms towards him. Come on, Zhuang, let dad hug you. When dad is not around, you have to take the place of mom. Dad must protect mom. Mom is not allowed to talk to young gay men she doesn't know, mom is not allowed to help young gay men, and mom is not allowed to let young gay men get close. Feng Qingxiu interrupted him. Okay, why are you repeating what I said? I am already a yellow-faced woman with a bunch of children, how can the blind person not see it? And what about Zhuang? He buried his face in his mother's arms and ignored Lu Zhang. Yellow-faced woman? How can there be such a beautiful yellow-faced woman in the world? Lu Zhang stared at his wife's face carefully. After a year of careful maintenance, the spots from her pregnancy were almost gone, and her skin was smooth and as white as snow. Moist as jade, and the tonic is not free. Although there are still shortcomings on the inside, she looks so radiant on the surface. Some people believe that she is 20 years old. Compared with the first time I saw her, she now has a mysterious charm, her youthfulness has faded away, and there is an indescribable temperament in her movements. She is more beautiful, dignified, noble, and graceful. Feng Qingxiu's cheeks turned red when he stared at her, making her even more beautiful. However, this tender feeling was interrupted. When he heard the doorbell being called outside, Lu Zhang reluctantly opened the door. When he saw it was Zheng Suifeng, he immediately put away the anger on his face. Comrade Zheng, what's the matter? Come here in such a hurry. At the beginning of April, a conference will be held in the capital. You have to prepare and set off in mid to late April, Zheng Suifeng said seriously. Lu Zhang reacted immediately. Don't worry, I'm ready. Just as he was about to tell his wife, Zheng Suifeng came. Feng Qingxiu learned that he was going to attend the Congress in the capital, which meant that he was now more powerful than she thought. She couldn't help but glance at him. No wonder she said she would leave early. He agreed so happily. It turned out that he also to leave the army. When you arrive in the capital, you have to be careful about everything and visit old friends when you have time, Feng Qingxiu whispered. Don't worry. After seeing so much information stored in his wife's space, if he could not keep the whole family safe, Lu Jiang's 37 years of food would be in vain. When you get home, you should take good care of yourself. Don't forget to take care of yourself, you are still weak inside, we want to be husband and wife for a long time, take care of each other. Feng Qingxiu smiled and said, okay, take care of each other. The meeting was held in April, and Lu Zhang had plenty of time, so he sent his wife and children to the car first, and then set off for the capital after arranging all the affairs of the army. The main work was currently handled jointly by the Chief of Staff and the 3 division commanders. This meeting will take about a month before and after, and the time spent in the capital will be longer than the meeting. Lu Zhang led people to the meeting place. There were still several days before the meeting, so he had to say hello to everyone first. He was completely lacking in this courtesy. Moreover, he was a junior, so his posture was low but neither humble nor overbearing. Lu Zhang was the first to see Zhang Yun, and Lu Zhang hurriedly stepped forward to say hello. Did you come by yourself? How many girls are there for Zibao? Zhang Yun asked Zibao. I heard from Xiaoyu that Qingxiu gave birth to triplets. Is it true? Do you have any photos that I can take a look at? Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1252. Yes, the troops have a place to take photos, and they take some photos every year as a souvenir. The Lu family is not short of money, so they are very willful. Lu Zhang took out the family portrait and the one-year-old photo of the triplets from his inner pocket. After thinking about it, he took out the 4-year-old photo of his daughter. The little girl on it was so beautiful. Zhang Yun held it in his hand and looked at it again and again. Why are the triplets different? Two are exactly the same, and the other is a lot smaller. Bystanders heard their conversation and came over and asked, "What triplets?" Comrade Lu Jiang's triplets. He looked up and saw Fan Ziohe, the commander of the Lu district military region and an old comrade in arms. After Zhang Yun answered smoothly, he handed the photo to him. "Do you think they like it?" But not everyone is lucky enough to have 3 sons at once. Fan Ziohe looked at it and held Fu Bao's photo tightly. "Oh my, what a beautiful girl." "My daughter," Lu Zhang said proudly. "How many children do you have?" "1 daughter and 3 sons, Fan Ziohe didn't look at the Lu family's family photo. Zhang Yun didn't show it to him. He had already given it back to Lu Zhang. There was light wind and snow on it, so how could it be shown to outsiders casually? Although Fan Ziohe is also an acquaintance of his, having climbed snowy mountains and walked through grasslands together, he is just a stranger to the Lu family. Lu Zhang had no friendship with Fan Ziohe, but he recognized each other. When the other party asked, he opened his hands and said, 5, my family has 5 children, 1 daughter and 4 sons. Fan Ziohe said with envy, "You are so lucky to have 5 children at such a young age. I heard that family planning has been proposed for several years, but it has been put on hold until it is implemented. A family with 5 children will have nothing to worry about. The most enviable ones are the triplets." Zhang Yun clicked on the triplets in the photo. "What's the concept of having 3 babies in 1 year? In the future, if my daughter gives birth to twin grandsons or granddaughters, I will laugh out loud." Fan Ziohe became even more envious after hearing this. Lu Zhang coughed and said modestly, "There is nothing to envy. The burden of raising 3 children is not light, especially Zhuang's sickly appearance made his wife worried every time." Fan Ziohe returned the photo to him and hit him on the shoulder. "I don't want to bully others like this." "Old comrade, I didn't bully anyone." Lu Zhang was innocent. "You said you didn't bully anyone? If you gave birth to triplets, what is it if you don't bully others? Ask around, among the representatives from various places who are coming one after another, which family has triplets, how many children has Fan Ziohe raised in his life? Everything has been broken, and now his old wife has passed away, leaving him alone. He is particularly envious of people who have children." Lu Zhang smiled sheepishly. Zhao Hanzi saw the scene when he came in, heard the second half of their conversation, and came over and said, "Show me the photo, let me see what little girl Fubao looks like." "I heard Xiaoun say, I've never seen such a beautiful girl." Lu Zhang saluted and handed over the photos of the triplets and Fubao with both hands. Zhao Hanzi was immediately attracted. "The little girl is so handsome. She will definitely be like her mother when she grows up. While Lao Fan and Lao Zhang are here, let them testify that our 2 families will get married. The little girl will marry. I feel bad for everyone. It means that marrying into their family will not be a loss." Lu Zhang shook his head decisively. "Now we don't care about the parents' orders or the matchmaker's words. The children's affairs will be decided by themselves when they grow up. Why do we adults get involved? What's more, Fubao is only 4.5 years old this year, and marriage is a big matter. It's too early to consider." No, I can't agree, I absolutely can't agree, not even for brother Zhao and sister-in-law Xiuying. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1253. Fan Xiaohe clicked his tongue, sulking. What's your expression? Zhang Yun asked. It was Lao Zhao who Lu Zhang rejected. What do you regret? It's rare to see such a beautiful embryo. I wanted to order a baby for my great-nephew, but Comrade Lu Zhang rejected Lao Zhao. Do I still have the right to speak, with such a young and promising person? Father, the identity of the little girl is self-evident. Fan Xiaohe is very jealous. I heard that the Lu family has a good relationship with the old leader. Anyone can recognize Lu Zhang at a glance. He is young and high-ranking. Among the white-haired seniors, Lu Zhang stood out from the crowd. He was so good-looking that he attracted many people's attention. Someone asked Lu Zhang if he was married. The person who heard this question happened to be Zhou Sueshan. He was grateful to Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu for their kindness. He was about to go up to say hello. Unexpectedly, he heard someone asking if Lu Zhang was married. He couldn't bear it. He couldn't help but glance at each other. Didn't you hear that Comrade Zhang Yun and the others are talking about Comrade Lu Jiang's triplets? There are a lot of children born, how can they not get married? This man's name was Han Ping. He was surprised when he heard this. Are you married? Zhou Sueshan looked at him like he was a fool, but he didn't show it on his face. Look how old Comrade Lu Zhang is. He is 37 years old this year. How can he not get married at this age? It's not like he didn't get married during the anti-Japanese war time. That's not necessarily true. There are many older officers who are not married, Han Ping said. What you are talking about is the situation caused by the anti-Japanese war during the anti-Japanese war and the early days of the founding of the People's Republic of China. The country has been trying every means to solve this situation. Zhou Sueshan looked at Han Ping for a long time, suddenly remembered some news he had heard recently, and patted. He looked over his shoulder and said sincerely, Old Han, I have a good relationship with your brother, and we two brothers are not outsiders. Let me tell you, Comrade Lu Zhang and his revolutionary partner Comrade Qingxiu are the benefactors of my family, and they are also the benefactors of my family. Your brother's benefactor, don't make any plans. What ideas can I have? Look at what you said, Brother Zhou. Am I that kind of person? Han Ping refused to admit the little calculation in his heart. After saying this, he suddenly realized, benefactor? What kind of benefactor? Zhou Sueshan whispered, have you forgotten the meningitis epidemic 2 years ago? Han Ping was stunned. Zhou Sueshan did not give him time to speak, and continued, my eldest grandson, your brother's youngest daughter, Ding Lao's grandson, and the children of Comrade Lao Li and Yeqing's family, why do you think they have more than others? Are you lucky enough to survive without becoming a fool because of the few Angong Niuhuang pills left in Comrade Lu Zhang and Comrade Qingxiu's hands? If we didn't have this status and this way, we could only watch the children and others. Children are also tortured to death by meningitis. Looking at Han Ping's uncertain expression, Zhou Sueshan sighed and patted him on the shoulder. I know your daughter got divorced recently and you want to find a good in-law for her, but you can't destroy other people's families, right? Lu Comrade Zhang and Comrade Qingxiu are a perfect match, the old leaders say so, and the old leaders have seen them personally. Han Ping straightened his expression and said with a smile, Brother Zhou, you are overly concerned. I just asked casually, so I don't have any thoughts. There is no best. This conference will take a few months. Currently, there are many older cotters who are single. You can slowly screen and choose a son-in-law. Having said that, Zhou Sueshan felt that he still had to remind him. Lu Zhang said, by the way, he told Han Zheng that only Han Zheng could control this younger brother. If it weren't for Han Zheng's existence, would Han Ping have the chance to rise all the way up? Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1254. The good relationship we forged back then has paid off today. Lu Zhang couldn't help frowning after hearing what Zhou Suishan pulled him aside and reminded him in private, "Isn't that true? I have a wife and children, and a very good revolutionary relationship. Instead of staring at me, it's better to be single like you said. You have said so much about the selection of cotters, and Comrade Han can't stand it if he stares at me any longer." Could it be that his wife really told him right? He actually became a hot commodity because of his identity? Lu Zhang secretly smiled bitterly. He didn't want to become such a favorite. Facing such covetousness made him feel sick. Zhou Suishan stared at his face for a moment. "Although I don't want to admit it, Comrade Lu Zhang, do you know how outstanding you are among this group of chickens and cranes? Hey, there are two words for chickens and cranes. What a coincidence. You are in this position at a young age. Although there is some luck, you have a lot of military achievements. Such a position makes many old men envious and jealous." Lu Zhang frowned and said, "What does this have to do with destroying my family?" Of course, Zhou Suishan patted him on the shoulder and lowered his voice. "Han Ping's daughter is divorced. She and her ex-husband parted ways because of different revolutionary ideas. She is about 30 years old this year. Do you think she is capable of appearing here? Who else is there who looks the same age as you? Han Ping has always had a high vision and has made up his mind to marry his daughter to a man who is better than her ex-husband. In order to achieve his goal, he is quite unscrupulous, so now he is getting along like a fish in water. Well done to us all." Having said this, Zhou Suishan sighed slightly. "His daughter's name is Han Aguo, Han Aguo." At the mention of this extremely masculine name, Zhou Suishan frowned and lowered his voice. "My real name is Han Li. I changed my name to Aiguo when I was a teenager. Many people said that she is a woman who is not inferior to other women and has a very tough temper, much like her father. When she divorced her ex-husband, she arrogantly said that she would definitely find someone to compare her status with you or a new revolutionary partner who is taller, better looking, and younger than him. His ex-husband's status is not low. He is a division commander. Isn't the one who is higher than the division commander the commander of the army? But many group armies do not have brigades, and even if they do, they are all division-level cotters." Lu Zhang couldn't laugh or cry, just because of this. "So I deserve to be unlucky." The words "you deserve to be unlucky" fell into Zhou Suishan's ears, and he immediately laughed. "No one dares to talk like you, but I like it. This is how we elders should behave and engage in those conspiracies well." After letting out a long sigh, Zhou Suishan continued, "You have to be mentally prepared." Lu Zhang nodded solemnly, and would remain reclusive unless necessary. Even so, he was targeted. While eating with everyone, a female soldier in her 20s, her eyes shining, pulled the veteran beside her and kept saying, "Dad, Dad, who is he? Such a young military commander. Do you know him? How come I've never seen it? Let go, let go, let go." The veteran, who was tightly held by her, glanced at Lu Zhang and said angrily, "Wu Xiao Xiao, why are you, a yellow-flowered girl, staring at others? She has a revolutionary partner, and there are 5. There are 3 children, 1 daughter and 4 sons, 3 of whom are twins. It has been widely spread." Looking sideways at his daughter, Commander Wu said, "Let me tell you another piece of news. His eldest son is called Zibao. He was once a guest of the old leader's family. The old leader liked him so much that he still points to him now. I'm talking about the photo taken together. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife." Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1255. Wu Xiaoxiao was instantly exhausted after hearing this. "Are you all married and have children?" Wu Xiaoxiao sighed. "I thought he was an older single officer. After all, there are many officers in this situation in your army." "Triplets, my God, they can. What a blessing, if only I could meet him. There will be a chance, Commander Wu said. Wu Xiaoxiao looked at his father in confusion. Where does this opportunity come from? Are their whole family here? No. No. Why did you say there would be a chance? Commander Wu touched his chin, and then he remembered that his beard had been clean-shaven 2 or 3 years ago as part of the old culture and had never grown it again. He put down his hand with regret and said, Xiao Yu's revolutionary comrade Lu Tianjun, he is the eldest nephew of Commander Lu Zhang. You and Xiao Yu have a good relationship. If Xiao Yu gets married tomorrow and their whole family comes to attend the wedding, you should be able to meet the triplets. Wu Xiaoxiao suddenly realized, Xiao Yu's in-laws? Triplets. Ah, I remembered it. Last year, Xiao Yu asked me to buy milk powder. She said that her in-law's aunt was stationed at the border and was about to give birth to a baby. She didn't have enough milk. In urgent need of milk powder, I mobilized many relatives and friends to help and bought more than 20 bags of milk powder. When Xiao Yu paid for the milk powder, she said that she would treat me to dinner next time. I have been waiting for more than a year, but she has not come to treat me. You ungrateful little girl won't pay attention to me now that you have a revolutionary comrade. Commander Wu asked, did Xiao Yu say when will you get married? I haven't heard of it, at least I have to wait for Lu Tianjun to do it, right? I heard that he won first place in the martial arts competition last year and was awarded third-class merit. He also won a second-class merit award for other reasons. I am very outstanding. I think it will be soon. We'll do it, Wu Xiaoxiao said. It is not easy for recruits to get approval for their love report and marriage report. Zhang Xiaoyu and Lu Tianjun's love report has been approved long ago, and they are now getting along as revolutionary comrades, but the marriage report has not yet been approved. The army has strict management, and some branches have regulations that prohibit love and marriage without mentioning the job. Fortunately, they are not among them. Commander Wu nodded and walked towards Lu Zhang. Dad, what are you doing? He is married and is not your son-in-law, Wu Xiaoxiao whispered. Because her mother cheated on her, her father and the whole family became a laughing stock. She hated destroying other people's families. Fart, do you think I am such an immoral person? I just know him and give him a heads up. Commander Wu's brother-in-law, He Xiangqian, now succumbs to Lu Zhang, and he feels happy no matter how much he thinks about it. This Commander Wu was the one who was cuckolded by He Xiongnan, the former sister of He Xiongnan. The two characters are Long March. Without He Xiongqian's support, He Xiongnan would not have cheated so naturally, and kept Wu Changzheng in the dark for many years. He even raised her and her adulterer's daughter for her, and did not know the truth until their scandal was revealed. At that time, he really wanted to kill them with a gun at all costs, but thinking of the children at home, he held back his anger for a while. I didn't spit out this breath at that time, but now my diaphragm should be uncomfortable. Therefore, Wu Changzheng was particularly happy to hear that He Xiangqian was unlucky. He had also had a hand in handling He Xiongqian's matter. Lu Zhang should thank himself, Wu Changzheng thought. Lu Zhang had heard about Wu Changzheng for a long time, so he naturally treated him with courtesy. After arriving in the capital, he heard about everyone's family problems every day. Sometimes they talked as much as the girls in the countryside, so he learned about Wu Changzhen's family condition. The specific situation was completely different from what Feng Qingyun told Feng Qingxiu after hearing it. Wu Changzheng and his ex-wife He Xiongnan divorced 8 years ago. The reason was that He Xiongnan cheated on her and gave birth to a daughter with her cheating partner. Her real surname was Wu. When she divorced, she changed her surname to He. Her name was He Tiantian. She was 15 years old. This was not what Feng Qingyun had heard. Born in the year of divorce. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1256. Rumors are always somewhat untrue. What Feng Qingyun heard in the art team was unnaturally true and false, and she had long since changed beyond recognition. It is said that this incident caused a big fuss and caused a sensation. Because of He Xiongqiang's protection, He Xiongnan finally escaped safely. After the divorce, Wu Changzheng married Hao Xiaomei, an art soldier from the capital art troupe, under the arrangement of the army. His parents and children from his first marriage all got along well with Hao Xiaomei, which was very rare. Wu Changzheng is a trustworthy person. Both Zhao Hanzi and Zhang Yun spoke highly of him. Seeing Lu Jiang's attitude, Wu Changzheng was very happy. He patted his shoulder hard. Seeing that his expression remained unchanged, he liked him even more. Okay, I like young and promising young people like you. The soldiers who represent our country are getting stronger with each generation, and our country will become more prosperous day by day. Wu Changzheng has a cheerful personality and a loud voice. You are overly complimentary. Lu Jiang was very modest. I still have a lot to learn and improve. I am honored to attend such a conference. I wish I could grow more pairs of ears, more eyes, and more mouths. I can listen, see, and ask. Together. Wu Changzheng laughed loudly. You are very interesting. Lu Jiang smiled very calmly. Wu Changzheng hooked his hand at him. After Lu Jiang approached him, he whispered, for the sake of your interest, let me tell you something I overheard. Say it, Lu Jiang said as if he was all ears. Wu Changzheng said with a smile, there is a man, his name is Han Ping. As for this Han Ping, he has a daughter named Han Aguo. She was recently divorced and is looking for her next partner. She vows to find a senior man who is 100 times better than her ex-husband. Cotter, his ex-husband is a division-level cotter. This morning, I happened to pass by and heard Han Ping tell his daughter that he saw a young, heroic, and powerful military commander, and asked her to drop by when the dance was held in the compound tomorrow. Come and see her and see if she is satisfied. As long as she is satisfied, we will immediately find a way to divorce this young military commander from his wife and form a revolutionary family with her. Lu Jiang frowned. Isn't this what Zhou Sueshan reminded him? After Zhou Sueshan explained his power to Han Ping didn't give up yet? Doesn't he know how to write shamelessly? Lu Jiang thought that he would restrain his previous thoughts when his wife was kind to his brother's family in saving their daughter. Wu Changzheng shook his head and sighed, this guy, being too good-looking is not necessarily a good thing, but being too capable is even more extraordinary. Just like that sweet cake, no matter who you are, everyone wants to take a bite. There are always people in the world. There are some people who are unwilling to keep their feet on the ground and just want to use crooked ways to achieve their goals and become the best. Thank you for the reminder, Lu Jiang said solemnly. Everyone knows that the old leader likes to dance. Even now that he is old and has trouble with his eyesight, he still insists on this hobby. Due to the current situation, dances in various government agencies, factories, and troops have been cancelled for many years, and only those in the compound still exist. In addition to the partners they bring, most of the female dance partners are outstanding figures selected from various art troupes. The dance didn't start right at the beginning. The old leader specifically asked Xiao Lu to call Lu Jiang to him. I heard that Zibao has triplets. Did the birth go smoothly? Are they being raised well? Lu Jiang was eager for the old leader to mention King Xiu and his child, so he hurriedly replied respectfully, the birth was pretty smooth. The third child was born before midnight. The fourth child didn't want to celebrate his birthday on the same day as the third child, so he had to stay up until the early morning. Only then did he come out, but it turned out that he had a brother later, so the triplets had 2 different birthdays. The triplets were well raised, and everyone who met them agreed. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1257. The old leader couldn't help but smile after hearing this. Isn't the one in the middle very naughty? Because I didn't want to celebrate my brother's birthday on the same day, I suppressed my energy and came out late. As a result, my wish was ruined. It's funny no matter how I think about it. The third child is honest, and his nickname is Dun Dun. The fourth child is naughty and domineering, and his nickname is Xiong Xiong. The fifth child was born weak and sickly, so he wanted to take advantage of the old leader's blessings, so he named Zibao's brother the name the old leader gave him back then. His name is Lu Tiangziu, and his nickname is Zhuang Zhuang. Xiao Wu looks very good now. Even though he was born younger than his elder brother, he is not older than his elder brother now. The old leader asked again about the names of Dun Dun and Xiong Xiong. After listening to Lu Jiang's words, he clapped his hands and said, "They are all good names. They were given by your father, right?" As soon as I heard such a name, I thought of your father. Yes, even if it's not, you have to say yes. How can we mention those old people who were sent to the Wanglu Brigade? The old leader asked Zibao again, "Do you have any photos of Zibao growing up?" After several years, he must have grown taller. Yes, but there are only photos from the beginning of last year. He went back to his hometown with his grandfather during the spring and summer, Lu Zhang said as he took out the photos taken by Zibao riding a horse and handed them to the old leader with both hands. The old leader had trouble with his eyesight, so he looked closer and put it in his pocket. It's just as I imagined. Don't treat him badly. Teach him well and he will be another pillar of talent in the future. After listening to the old leader's words, Lu Zhang naturally agreed, "Don't worry, he can write a lot now. He writes to you every year. You will definitely be able to see the changes in his handwriting, which is getting better day by day." The old leader was stunned. He had not received a letter from Zibao in the past 2 years. He had received a few letters at first, and the handwriting was difficult to read. However, the old leader did not say anything, and said directly, "Tell him to continue writing to me, I will wait and see." The people around him were awestruck when they heard the conversation between the old leader and Lu Zhang. They didn't expect that this young and promising commander would be so valued by the old leader, and couldn't help but take a few more glances. Han Aguo, who attended the dance with his father, stared straight-eyed. "Dad, it's him." Han Aguo's heart beat loudly, feeling the long-lost throbbing. Han Aguo was a man who kept his word. There was a clicking sound when his military leather shoe stepped on the ground. He appeared in front of Lu Zhang and extended his hand to him. "Comrade, can I invite you to dance?" The dance party has already begun, but Lu Zhang has no intention of ending. Now, he was sitting on the sofa chatting with Wu Changzheng, Zhou Sueshan, Zhang Yun, and others, as well as Lu Shui, General Su, and Fan Ziohe. These few were older and felt that they could no longer dance. They were laughing at Lu Jiang's age. "Qing Qing also doesn't dance." Lu Zhang said seriously, "The mother of the child is not here. If she were here, we would definitely go to the dance floor. Feng Qingxiu comes from half a century later and will definitely dance." The implication of Lu Jiang's words was very clear, that is, his dance partner was none other than Feng Qingxiu, and no one else should even think about it. Wu Changzheng caught a glimpse of Han Aguo's figure and smiled at Lu Jiang. Lu Jiang's heart moved. Before he could speak, he heard Han Aguo's words and saw her actions. It is normal for gay men to invite lesbians to dance, but it is very rare for gay men to invite lesbians to dance. Han Aguo's move immediately attracted a lot of attention. Wu Xiaoxiao came down from dancing with the chief, and immediately rushed over when he saw this, planning to accuse Han Aguo of being shameless, knowing that he had a wife and children, and still went forward to invite him to dance. Everyone knows that Han Aguo is choosing a husband for herself, and the intention of her move is self-evident. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1258. Wu Xiaoxiao and Zhang Xiaoyu are good friends, and it makes sense. The two have very similar personalities, they like to fight against injustice and are free and uninhibited. Just when Wu Xiaoxiao was about to speak, she heard Lu Zhang reply in a calm and almost cold voice, "No." 3 words, crisp and clear. It would be absolutely disrespectful to refuse an invitation like this, especially when facing an invitation from a lesbian. After Lu Zhang uttered 3 words, he didn't even look at Han Aguo. He turned to Wu Changzheng and said, "Comrade Wu, where were we talking just now? I was interrupted and couldn't remember for a moment." Wu Changzheng smiled and said, "As for your triplets, when will you bring them to us to see? You can look at the photos to get to know me. I'm afraid I won't be able to see you for a while. I came to the capital for a meeting with my comrades from the army. I came here on official business and did not go with their mother and son. But if there is a chance, I will definitely bring him with me." These ladies came to the capital to visit old comrades. Lu Zhang showed a hint of apology. "There is definitely a chance," Wu Changzheng said firmly. Although Lu Zhang is young, he has a calm personality and a measured advance and retreat. He shows off his military talents in every conversation. It would be unreasonable for such a talent not to be promoted. Sooner or later, he will be transferred from the Border Defense Force to command a large military region. Wu Changzheng and others gave Lu Zhang a very high evaluation, but Han Aguo was humiliated. They rejected her and then chatted as if no one else was around, almost throwing her face to the ground and trampling on her. In the eyes of some people around him, Han Aguo was ashamed and angry at this time. His face was as red as a 5-pointed star. On his plain face, a pair of almond eyes radiated blazing flames. Wu Xiaoxiao laughed so hard that she pushed her and said, "Comrade Han Aguo, let's go. There are many people waiting for you to ask them to dance." Han Aguo shook off her hand, glared at the back of Lu Jiang's head, and strode away. "When a person leaves, his heart may not die," Wu Changzheng whispered to Lu Jiang. Zhou Sueshan had frowned deeply for a long time. Could it be that Han Ping turned a deaf ear to his words? In what period was this, when one blatantly allowed his daughter to covet a married man, just because he was so comfortable in the water that he had no scruples? Zhang Yun and Fan Ziohe's expressions had already darkened. Lu Zhang noticed that the old leader stopped to rest after dancing. He stood up and said to them, "I'm going to talk to the old leader." Several old comrades' eyes lit up and they urged, "Go quickly, go quickly." The words of the old leader are the imperial edict. What does Han Ping mean? Who is Han Aguo who uses Han Ping to pretend to be powerful? Even if the father and daughter get along well, they dare to go against the old leader? They didn't know what Lu Zhang said to the old leader, but they saw him making the old leader smile. When the dance came to an end, the old leader said to his former guard Han Zheng in public, "Xiao Han, tell your brother and niece not to disturb Comrade Lu Zhang. Comrade Lu Zhang has told me, he was afraid of having a bad influence, not only affecting the way of life that the army should have, but also worrying about affecting the revolutionary feelings of revolutionary families. He was even more afraid of spreading the matter beyond recognition, so he never interacted with anyone other than his revolutionary companions. Lesbians have had contact with each other. I think it makes sense. Zibao's parents are a perfect match, and they are both good revolutionary fighters. Now that Comrade Lu Zhang is coming to the capital for a meeting, we cannot let his worries come true." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1259. Of course, Lu Jiang's original words were not that. He was not that straightforward, but there was probably no difference in meaning. The old leader is getting older, his movements are slowing down, and his eyesight is not good, but he is more and more fond of the innocent heart. Back then, Zibao occupied this area, and now Lu Zhang has benefited from Zibao's glory, and he also has his own qualities. The reason why the body and mind are dust-free is included. After hearing what the old leader said, Han * blushed with shame and said repeatedly, don't worry, I don't even know about this. If I knew, I would definitely not let them disturb Comrade Lu Zhang. Patriotism. After the divorce, her father made up his mind to find a son-in-law for him. He must have forgotten to inquire about Lu Jiang's family situation because he saw Comrade Lu Jiang's talent. The revolutionary feelings and revolutionary families of all soldiers cannot be destroyed by anyone, the old leader said loudly. Yes. Yes, Han * said hurriedly. The old leader added, we have so many single cotters, which one is not a good one? You can't judge people by their appearance, but by their families. Comrade Han Aguo got divorced and remarried. I will introduce a good comrade to her later. But here is at the dance, which of the comrades present is not experienced in many battles? Who is not in an important position? Comrade Han Aguo can choose as he pleases. These words were very serious and expressed the old leader's dissatisfaction with the behavior of Han Ping and his daughter. Should many people feel very relieved, why? Which one of them has not climbed to his current position by relying on his own ability? Who wants to let a woman who divorced for her own reasons judge her and be picky? Who has no dignity? Zhou Sueshan secretly shook his head, neither Han * nor Han Ping could have a close friendship. If nothing else, Lu Zhang is the savior of Han *'s daughter. Is this the attitude Han * has towards his savior? When Wu Xiaoxiao heard that Han Aguo was arranged by the old leader to marry one of her guards, she laughed at home with her arms akimbo. Although she and Han Aguo were about 10 years apart in age, they had been feuding for a long time. The reason is simple. Her mother, He Xiongnan, cheated on her during marriage, and Han Aguo often used this incident to attack their family. Wu Changzheng had no intention of remarrying after his divorce. He couldn't resist the excessive enthusiasm of the army leaders and had to arrange a new revolutionary partner for him to take care of the family. At that time, he pointed at Bai Shui in the art troupe. However, the matchmaker of the army leader was not Bai Shui, but Hao Xiaomei, who was also in the art troupe. There was no way to refuse at that time. Everyone had to follow the arrangements of the army. Wu Changzheng himself had no objection to Bai Shui and Hao Xiaomei. After getting married, he made an agreement with Hao Xiaomei. The two of them had a formal marriage. After all, he was old and didn't know whether he would survive. When that day comes, there is no reason to delay her youth. After a few years, when the limelight is over, we can divorce her and help her find a good family. Therefore, Hao Xiaomei worked very hard in the Wu family. 2 or 3 years ago, Wu Changzheng was preparing to divorce Hao Xiaomei. Unexpectedly, the movement started and he had to give up temporarily. Wu Xiaoxiao is the only one in the family who knows about this. She has a good relationship with Hao Xiaomei. In name, the couple went out to buy a few kilograms of wool and came back to knit sweaters for Wu Xiaoxiao's eldest brother's child. When they met Han Aguo, Hao Xiaomei was attracted by Han Aguo. Aiguo ridiculed her for a while, saying that she wanted to climb a high tree before marrying Wu Changzheng, who was 2 years older than her. He also said that Wu Changzheng had been a cuckold for several years, and so on. From then on, Wu Xiaoxiao remembered Han Aguo. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1260. Now Han Aguo wanted to marry a senior cotter, but ended up marrying a guard who was a few years younger than her, which made Wu Xiaoxiao laugh for 3 days. It's not that he looked down on the guards of the old leader 6. Wu Xiaoxiao definitely didn't have this idea, but seriously, how could the rank and future of a guard be compared with that of a military commander? Even he is incomparable to Han Aguo's ex-husband. Hao Xiaomei was slightly startled after hearing what Wu Xiaoxiao said, and couldn't help but be secretly amused. With someone like Han Aguo, what do you care about with her? I just couldn't get angry. I was so happy when I saw her misfortune, Wu Xiaoxiao said seriously. At first, she laughed at us four siblings behind our backs, and laughed at my father for being a cuckold. It made my grandparents angry for a long time. She was too embarrassed to go out, and then she laughed at you for being like a dragon and a phoenix. People like her deserve to be struck with thunder. Hao Xiaomei said softly, you are the jade bottle, and she is the mouse. It is inappropriate to knock over the jade bottle just to kill the mouse. She is already like this. Don't add insult to injury, otherwise she will definitely hate you. Wu Xiaoxiao said yes, indicating that he remembered. Hao Xiaomei thought of what her friend Yang Fenying had said to her and the letters passed between the two. She pursed her lips and smiled and said, I have heard about Comrade Lu Zhang and his wife, Comrade King Xiu. The revolutionary feelings between the two are particularly good, which makes people feel like I only envy Mandarin ducks but not immortals. Fortunately, Comrade Lu Zhang reacted quickly and reported it directly to the old leader, otherwise I would not have known what would happen. Living in the capital, she understands better than anyone else that the reason why bad people are bad is because their hearts are as black as ink, their lungs are as rotten as sieves, and their intestines are comparable to snakes and scorpions. They can easily inflict 100 murders on an innocent person. A crime that will bring you down. Han Ping and his daughter did this kind of thing. Han Aguo's husband Zheng Heping couldn't tolerate her framing a good person and got divorced. Wu Xiaoxiao listened to Hao Xiaomei's words and said hurriedly, I was wandering around with my dad and took the opportunity to see the photos of the triplets from Comrade Lu Jiang's family. Two were exactly the same, one looked like a little girl, and even the little girls were not so beautiful. It's so lovable. I'll go find Zhang Xiaoyu another day. This stinky girl won't contact me if she has nothing to do. Her revolutionary comrade Lu Tianjun is Comrade Lu Jiang's nephew. It's such a coincidence. Hao Xiaomei felt incredible, and then said, speaking of Xiaoyu, I remembered that Zheng Huiwei is leaving. You can send her the ticket for tomorrow and bring her some food. And food stamps. Zheng Huiwei is another friend of Wu Xiaoxiao. She is not a brother in the big courtyard, but a classmate, and the relationship is relatively good. Huiwei is leaving? Where are you going? Why are her good friends leaving the capital? During the military recruitment at the beginning of the year, many people were arranged to join the army by their families, and now Zheng Huiwei has to leave too. Hao Xiaomei whispered, isn't this a response to the call to go to the vast countryside to receive re-education from poor and lower middle peasants? Each family can only keep one child at home without a job. Zheng Yuanyuan secretly reported the names of her younger brothers and sisters. She stayed at home waiting to pick up her shift at her mother's textile factory. Zheng Yuanyuan is Zheng Huiwei's sister, she is very smart and powerful. Others responded positively and took the initiative to go to the mountains and countryside, but Zheng Yuanyuan didn't want to go, so she used this method. All her brothers and sisters have gone to the countryside, and she is the only one left in the family. Everything belongs to her. 20-year-old Zheng Huiwei and 16-year-old Zheng Daotao, who had just graduated from junior high school, were assigned to different places. The former was assigned to Huihei City, and the latter was assigned to Leshantan in the northeast. Zheng Huiwei left first, and a large group of young men and women accompanied her. They were all assigned to Huihei City, but the specific places were different.